I'm in recovery, and I was in active addiction for, over 10 years, and nobody knew about it. It was a big secret. And now I'm trying to eliminate the whisper, and that's the website is eliminatethewhisper.com is our website. So go check out what we're doing. But tomorrow's going to be great. It's free. It's at South Alabama. I need everybody in the community to come out and hear what's going on, because and I know addiction touches everyone. If it doesn't touch you personally, it will touch your family or a relative or someone. And we have got to stop whispering. We've got to stop this stigma of addiction. It is a problem across the country. There are 107,000 people, Americans, died from overdose. 107,000. That's 200 people a day dying from an opiate overdose. And most of that's fentanyl, right? So think about it like this. If it's 200 a day, that is the size of Alabama's football team going on a road trip. If you include the staff, the coaches, or Georgia or LSU, whenever we would go on a road trip, that 737 plane that we took had 200 people on it. Now imagine losing a Marshall type situation every single day. Do you think people would start waking up? Well, I hope so. And that's why we started the AARA. And that's why we're having a town hall meeting here in Mobile. Where else would I want to have one? That's right. And who else would I want to have it with besides Senator Britt? Let's go to work, baby.
Let me ask you, when you talk about stopping the whisper, what specifically are you meaning by that? What are we kind of whispering and not bringing to the forefront like you are?
We came up with this tagline with Telegraph out of Birmingham. They helped me come up with this tagline. And it all started, we're a nonprofit, so I got to ask people for money. And that's really not easy. But that's a side note. But to eliminate the whisper, when I would call people in the middle of the conversation, asking them for money, they would say, hey, I got a nephew that really struggles. And I'm not saying to jump up and down my nephew's struggling, but it's also, you wouldn't whisper it if it was cancer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't whisper it if there was a diabetic. This is a medical thing. It's proven. You can talk to docs, scientists, however you want. It is a disease. It's in the brain. And so why not love recovery? Why not the families that get affected? That's the difference with our nonprofit, the AARA, is that we also have family members that have lost loved ones to this addiction. So it's the first organization to have both people in recovery and also family members that have lost or are battling persons in recovery. So I'm trying to eliminate the stigma.
Eliminate the whisper. I like that. Hashtag and eliminatethewhisper.com is where you can go to learn more about it. And like you said, tomorrow here along the Mobile Baldwin County area, along with Senator Katie Britt, addressing the addiction epidemic. A conversation with Senator Katie Britt along with Scott Cochran and some other great panelists who can give outstanding insight about what's going on in this world. And Coach, you brought up the point of Marshall football. Those that don't remember the tragic plane crash that killed the entire program, and we saw the movie that was made because of it, but that is per day. And when you think about it and you put your thinking cap on in regards to those type of numbers, that is unbelievable. And the message that you're trying to get, the positive message about speaking up if you are addicted, if you do have a struggle, because like you mentioned, a silent addiction can be a silent killer as well.
Yes, and people are dying, when I first started abusing opiates, at first the doc said, here, take this for your migraines. And he told me, and this was 2012, hey man, these are addictive. Man, come on. I'm the most mentally tough, individual you'll ever meet. I'm not going to get addicted to something. And by the end of it, I was addicted to fentanyl. And fentanyl kills you. And I'm lucky to be alive. In New Orleans, we call it lagniappe. I'm living on that lagniappe right now. I'm a little something extra. This part of my life is extra. I should not be here. And so to hear that from a coach, I hope it wakes some people up. I hope there's somebody listening right now. There's a reason why I'm here today. Is because I hope somebody's listening right now and they're like, you know what? I need to get some help.
I want to ask you, you mentioned that this was kind of like a big secret for yourself, so therefore you were kind of part of the whispering, right? So what was the transition to where you found out you actually need to be, I don't know, maybe I'll be, for lack of a better word, proud about the journey, that you went through?
I think it was just the fact that everybody's so afraid. And there was so much shame and so much guilt that I had, because I had 2 years of sobriety. I was on fire, went back-to-back national championship at Georgia, being sober for both of those. And man, once I picked back up in last season, 2023, when I picked back up, I was so much shame, so much guilt. I felt like a fraud. I felt like a complete failure to my family, to all the players, because they knew I was in recovery. And because I wasn't shy about it, because I was telling everybody, hey, I'm in recovery. Hey, I had this addiction problem. It's ugly. It's gross. It's not something everybody wants to talk about. And for people to see someone that, listen, I had all the success you ever wanted. I've got the championship rings. Financially, I was making great money. I got the great wife and the kids. I got it all on the outside. But inside and behind closed doors, I was a fraud. And that's sad to even talk about. But if I'm not talking about it, who is? Mm-hmm. It's so important to get this word out and let people know that recovery is real and it's beautiful and it's awesome and you can do it.
Yeah. I know that you with your Alabama background, one of Alabama's all-time greatest linebackers, Keith McCants, being from right here in Mobile, Alabama, at Murphy High School. He did not have an addiction problem until he got into the NFL. And it started with wanting to stop the pain in his knees, him wanting to stay on the field, not wanting to let his team down, earning that contract, earning the dollars that he signed up for. And it just led to, after football was gone, the pain never left him. And that's how he regressed back into the addiction that ultimately hurt him in his livable life. And to me, cut short a wonderful life. It's stories like that that are real and touchable and people in our area can remember and relate to. And this is a guy who had everything as well. A first-round draft pick, picked, I think, 4 overall, and was healthy until he wasn't. And it's not only the addiction, it's also the mental aspect, Coach. You were a former national champion strength and conditioning coach, and I know we have 1 minute left before we go to this break, but talk about, where you talked about the demons that you had and kept quiet and silent. How did you ultimately decide to come out?
I mean, honestly, through God. Without Jesus, I was done. It was so difficult, this journey, to get to recovery, to get to where I am. He made it possible. And like there's this, faith, right? Is believing in something you can't see. And he just kept, I'm Catholic, right? So I can rattle off a rosary like that, But then I started getting a spiritual relationship with him, and then all of a sudden, I started to get some freedom and some peace.
Talking about the peace, Scott Cochran. He is an 8-time national champion, former strength and conditioning coach at Alabama and Georgia, also a special teams coach. So that was a new transition and title that you left from Alabama to go to Georgia and test new waters. And we'll talk about your continued coaching journey, your continued life journey. right here on The Final Drive on WNSP 105.5 with Scott Cochran.